Hey, everybody. It is Jennifer Tarle from Tarle Speech. Happy Monday. Welcome to everyone. It was a good weekend here, but busy, but I'm ready to get back into things. So if you are joining me live, hello. If you are listening to this as a podcast, I will be showing a few slides on my end on YouTube. So if you want to see those, you can go to YouTube at Tarle Speech and you can see those visuals if that helps you. So I will be doing a short presentation today, and then after the presentation, I will open it up to a question and answer. I try to keep this nice and short and sweet and under a half an hour, so we'll be wrapping up at about 8:30. Also, I just wanted to let you all know I will not have a live next week. I'm not available. So I will resume the last week in July. So I'll see you all then. I just posted the details for that yesterday. So let's check the chat and make sure everyone can see me. All right. Good morning to everyone and hello from Australia. Hi to you from the US. All right. The past few months, we have been talking about stress in words and, oops, my light just fell over. Sorry, everyone. Hold on a second. Stress in words and stress exceptions. So when we add suffixes to words, how does that change the rhythm of the word? So if you've been watching, you do know that English is a stressed timed language, meaning that we will have some syllables that are louder, longer, and higher in pitch, and other syllables that are lower, softer, and faster. And so this gives us that rhythm. It's important that you have both types of these syllables. The mistake that I see oftentimes is that people will really stress a syllable, but then they'll fail to unstress other syllables. So most of the time, when we add a prefix or a suffix to a word, the stress of the root word stays the same. I use this example every week. I think it's good to kind of think about that when we have the word happy, hap is our stressed syllable. When we add a prefix, my root word is going to remain the same in terms of the stress. Something is going to change though. What is going to change is we still have this amount of time to say a word. So we need to fit everything into that amount of time. So when you try to fit everything into that amount of time, syllables need to get shorter. All right, so we have the word happy. If I add an unhappy, and then if I add the ly, happily, you can hear that it sounds like I'm speaking a little faster. I'm not necessarily speaking faster. My syllables are getting shorter and quicker because I need to fit them into that specific amount of time. If I add both, again, my main root word stress is going to remain the same. Hap is going to be my stressed syllable. Everything is going to sound a little bit different. Even my hap, even my stressed syllable will sound different because it's going to be shorter and quicker. So I have happy, unhappy, unhappily. Everything gets quicker. Something else happens in this word. We get a schwa. What is a schwa? I like to think about it as a super quick, relaxed beat in a word. Most people will say they hear the sound. in happa, happily. You hear this in my name, Jennifer, Jennifer. It's that little sound in the middle of the word. We use it all the time in English. I got a really long response on one of my videos this weekend about the schwa. And for those of you who study languages for a living, study linguistics, who maybe are native speakers, please keep in mind that my channel is mainly about clear speaking for people who are learning English. I'm doing this as a service to help people. That being said, with that short sound, you might hear a short I, Jennifer. You might hear a short E sound, Jennifer. Any vowel can become this short, quick schwa sound if you make it relaxed enough and you reduce it enough. It's about the sound. It's not about the letter that corresponds. It's not about what is exactly being spoken. How do you exactly say this word? It's about that rhythm piece. So if you think about the rhythm and you kind of embrace that, that's really going to help you. And as you can tell just from my examples, every time I say the word, it might sound slightly different depending on if my word is stressed in a sentence versus if it isn't. If I'm adding a prefix and a suffix versus if I'm just saying the root word or just adding the suffix or just adding the prefix. So think about rhythm, embrace the rhythm, think about stressed and unstressed, and that will help a lot. Okay. So our suffix for today that we are going to talk about, it is the ABLE and the IBLE. Most of the time, we are going to spell this suffix with ABLE, and there are situations where we do use the IBLE, but both of these are pronounced exactly the same. They are pronounced able. We are going to have that schwa sound, that in here. We are going to have the stressed syllable bull in here. A bull, a bull, a bull. I don't pronounce it differently. If it's spelled ABLE or IBLE, they're both pronounced exactly the same, a bull. All right, so that's what we're going to think about. We are going to think about pronouncing this as a bull, a bull. And you can hear when I'm doing my slow example, it sounds a little different than when I say it quickly and naturally. So a bull, I'm teaching, a bull is how I'm actually pronouncing it. But then even it's going to sound a little different when I put it in a word. And let's listen to that. All right, so here are some words. And I just want you to listen. I'm going to say these as naturally as possible. Quotable, bearable, collapsible, susceptible, remarkable, valuable, variable, predictable, considerable, irresistible. I do want to comment just because I've been getting a lot of questions about this. Valuable can be pronounced valuable or valuable. So I'm really reducing that middle syllable there in valuable. That is totally acceptable, and that's a variation. Variations abound in English, and so just go for clarity, and you will be perfect, okay? Because it's all about clear and connecting with other people. Don't worry too much about being perfect because that is really difficult. And it really depends on where you are and all those things. While I'm saying that, I do want to find this account. I found an amazing guy this weekend, and he has an amazing channel about English in the South. So let me pull him up. I hope I can find it for you quickly. If you have questions about Southern English, this guy, he is for you. It's just amazing. Okay, here he is. Let me put this in the chat for you. His name is Landon Talks a Lot. And here he is on YouTube. His channel is great. He really just talks about vocabulary in the South and the different grammar in the South from time to time. And it's great. So I say give him a look. He's amazing. I shared some of his videos on Instagram this week. All right, so let's get back to the topic. Let's do some practice, okay? Here we go. I'm going to say the word and you repeat after me. Everybody ready? And just a reminder, if you're listening to the podcast, you can jump on over to YouTube at Tarle Speech to see these words. All right. Quotable, bearable, collapsible, susceptible, remarkable, valuable or valuable, variable, predictable, considerable, irresistible. Okay, now I'm going to say the whole list and then you take a turn. Quotable, bearable, collapsible, susceptible, remarkable. Valuable, variable, predictable, considerable, irresistible. Okay, I'm going to do both lists and then you can take your turn. Quotable, bearable, collapsible, susceptible, remarkable, valuable, variable, predictable, considerable, irresistible. Okay, how did everyone do? I'm going to look for questions just from this lesson. Just a quick summary. We were talking about the ABLE suffix. We are going to pronounce that as a schwa with bull, a bull, a bull, a bull. Quick tip, this LE suffix, ending rather, like in my name, Tarle, Jennifer Tarle, my last name, we pronounce it ul, ul, ul. In fact, most of the time when we have an ending with an L, table, title, those all have that ul at the end. We also do this with other endings like EL, AL, like literal. We do that ul ending. All right. Okay. Someone did ask, what does considerable mean? And that means sort of like sizable or substantial, significant. It's a considerable amount of something. It's sizable. All right. Okie dokie, everybody. Let's get to some questions. Okay. So, can these sentences sound the same? Flap D and T. He laid at night and came. Okay. So, the T and the D, when we use them as a flap, they can sound the same. And hello to you. Who has the best pronunciation? Oh my goodness. I really think that is a loaded question. I think that, again, I know I always say this and it sounds like a cop out. It's really not. Pronunciation really varies. It varies with your mood. It varies with the topic. And I am speaking very broadly about pronunciation, thinking about the intonation, the tone of voice, the stress, the speed, all of those things really it changes. So I can't really give you a person who has the best pronunciation, but there are people that I do like the way that they speak. Okay. And yes, you can pronounce both of those the same. Your bed is big. Your bed is big. Do Americans say home city? No. We typically say hometown or where we are from. So sometimes I don't even say hometown. I'll just say I'm from here and talk about that. I hear both of these. Do Americans say I could care less or I couldn't care less? We say both, even though technically I think it's supposed to be I couldn't care less. So I could not care any less about something. But we definitely use both of those. Okay. Do both of these sound the same? You're back and you're back. They're back and they're back. Yes, because you can pronounce those words the same. Your and your, the contraction. There and there, the contraction. That being said, some people have very strong opinions that these words should be pronounced differently. But I think if you go with the same, you're going to be just fine. Oh, thank you, Monty. I really appreciate that. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Some cell, pronounced the same. Okay, that was my Landon talks a lot. Love this guy. He's so funny. He talks about one of my favorite videos from yesterday that I watched. I was watching way too many of his videos, was talking about salads. And I never really thought as deeply about this as I did yesterday. But salads in America really are about two things mixed together: chicken salad, potato salad. It's not always necessarily a vegetable. Jello salad, we eat a lot where I grew up. And that is basically jello with something in it. It could be fruit, it could be cottage cheese, just anything plus jello. So I thought that was like very interesting and it made me laugh. I do not know what it means when you take a piece out of an opponent in chess. I think maybe checkmate, but I'm not sure. I don't play chess. Sorry about that. How many accents are there in the US? Oh my goodness, so many. America truly is a melting pot with people from everywhere. And so, depending on where you are and what sort of language influence you're having in the area at the time, that will change the accent, because accent is more than just sounds. It's the grammar, it's the vocabulary, it's all of these things. And so there are so many, I just can't even count. I have no idea what that question means. Considerable, I answered this. Are dead on arrival and debt on arrival different if we speak fast? That's a hard one because I don't think I would ever say debt on arrival. Okay, I have issues with the A in the word valuable. Oh, very good question. Actually, you're making me think a little bit. Okay, so if I say it valuable, I have that in there. But if I reduce that even further and I say valuable, you almost don't hear it because value. I'm saying that yeah as part of my and then you might hear that a little differently. So valuable, you can probably hear that, but valuable, you probably can't because that yeah influences that schwa there. It's there, that schwa. It just sounds a little different. So I hope that helped. Okay. All right. When an L is pronounced, my tongue most of the time goes in the middle of the upper and lower teeth. Is that okay? Yes, there are variations with L. I actually use many different variations of L depending on the other sounds in the word. So L can be pronounced between the teeth. Call me, or you can touch the back of the teeth, call me, or you can use a dark L, call me, and you're kind of flipping your tongue back. I try to avoid the dark L because it gets confusing for people, but that is another variation. So there's lots of um, variations there with the pronunciation of L. Okay, what is the difference between objective and subjective? Um, Subjective means it's more of an observational between, and then objective would mean more actual data. So if you're working in a school, your subjective data may be how the student is doing sort of in a narrative form that you would be talking about, where the objective data would be this student knew these 10 sounds and he could read this many words. So I like to think subjective is more just giving your own thoughts. Okay. Please say, Tarla, say me, please. Hey, Mergen, how are you? I love your little avatar there with the little heart. So, hello, hello. I never say a lounge in a house. I only say living room or family room. I do hear that. And a question about a proverb or an idiom in English. What is the meaning of an elephant in the room? What does it mean to address the elephant in the room? So that means that there's something that is very obvious, but no one is talking about it. So this could be, let me think of a good example here. So it's a big topic or a big question that no one is really talking about, that everyone is avoiding. So you might say, let's talk about the elephant in the room, this problem. And then you actually just bring up that topic. Hey, Helmer, how are you? Nice to see you. He's saying hi to everyone. All right. When I say an R, do you twist your tongue as when you pronounce an L? There's variation. So what I tell people to do is say an L like. And when you say that L, think about where your tongue is. Most of the time it should be touching something like the teeth or the top of the roof of the mouth. Now, when you say an R, like in run, you have two variations. You can say an R with the tip of the tongue down, but the key is the back of the tongue still needs to be pulled up. Or you can flip the tip of the tongue back. Again, you need to keep the back of the tongue pulled high up. So this is the back of the tongue sound, the R sound. The tongue is either down or flipped back. Key for the R is we don't touch the teeth in English for an R sound. A lot of languages do that. And then it sounds like a T or a D to an English speaker because you are using that flap. I shouldn't say to an English speaker. I should say to an American English speaker, because in Indian English, a flap is very common for an R, but that does get a little confusing for an English speaker to listen to. Okay. All right. And then have a good one. Okay, everybody. The time always flies in this class. We are actually out of time. Few quick things before we wrap up. I have over 1,000 lessons here on YouTube. Oh, my watch started talking to me. I've been posting videos on YouTube for a long time. If you were so inclined, please tell your friends about me. That is how I continue to grow. I don't try to do any clickbait for you. I just want to teach you and help you to be a more confident speaker. I fully admit there are variations with everything. And so also, I think that bothers some people that I'm not just like, here's the definitive answer. If you are also looking for recommendations, maybe for games or activities for your family, I restarted my other YouTube channel. It's Tarle Speech Kids. So you can check that out. And you can look there for some recommendations. I also have lots and lots of recommendations on my Amazon page if you are looking for other things. I get questions about like, what camera do you use? Which product do you use at home? What do you use on your face for lotion? Started reviewing them all. They're there if you're so inclined and interested. I know a lot of people aren't, but people do ask. It's always fascinating. I actually got this shirt on Amazon, so it's on there if you're interested. I have books, lots of freebies this month because 18 years in business. So you can go to Teachers Pay Teachers and get some free downloads there. I have $10 books on Google Play all month long for my vowels and consonant sounds. I also have books on iTunes, on Kobo, and Teespring. You can get those in the description below. I'm going to post this class to my podcast, so you can get that wherever you download your podcasts. And I just want to say I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for just all of your kindness and all of your support all of these years. It really does truly mean the world to me. I love my job, and I think you're all just amazing. I'm seeing a few more things come in here. Let me just try to answer these questions. What does my stream schedule look like? I'm all over the place because it's summer. My daughter is home. We have events happening. We have family coming into town. So my streams are kind of all over the place for the summer. Once summer is over in September, I usually have a more typical schedule. I usually do noon US Eastern time lessons during the week. But like I said, for the summer, I'm kind of all over the place. You can check YouTube, and I have my live streams schedule posted there. What old-fashioned idioms do you still hear non-native English speakers using? Oh, that's a hard one because I work with so many people from so many different places, and each language kind of has their own flavor of things that they say. I do find with idioms, most of my students tend to not use them because they're afraid to use them incorrectly. Thank you. That I'm doing a great job. Make America Great Again. I don't get into politics here, but thanks. I do have online classes. I have one-to-one classes. They are more of a bespoke model. So they're not inexpensive. I'm going to own that. But what you do get is I do an assessment, and I come up with a plan on exactly what you need to improve in 3 main areas. I have a class just on sounds, vowels and consonants. One's on syllable and word stress, and then one on intonation. However, within those, because the classes are bespoke, I work on your biggest issues. I have some people right now that I'm working a lot on voice and on using something called a glottal stop because I'm working with several people from areas in Asia where that is a very common thing to do. It's a big difference, and it makes you difficult to understand to a native English speaker. And so I kind of do whatever you need. I would not. Okay, so this question is, which suffix is used more, CY or CE? Independence or independency? CE, independence. Okay. How long does it take to switch to an American accent? And is it impossible to sound like a native speaker? This is a tough question. It really depends on the person. It depends on how long you've been studying English, how much you've immersed yourself. because I've been doing this for so long, I've kind of seen it all. I have worked with siblings who came to the US at the same time. One has almost no discernible, I'm going to call it accent, whereas the other person really had a little more of a pronounced accent. I've worked with people who came in high school and they sound like a native speaker. And then I've worked with people who came in high school and they have a very strong accent still. It really depends on the person. It depends on many factors, the amount of time you practice. I just want to say that it's always about being clear. You don't have to have this perfect accent. It's just about being consistent and clear. And again, an accent is more than just the sounds, it's the grammar, it's the vocabulary, it's the subtle like nuance to different contexts as well. Okay, you are welcome. So thanks, everyone. I need to sign off for the day. Have an amazing day. Make sure you check out all of my little extras this month. I'm posting more lessons than usual. I have an embarrassing mistake every Sunday, which those have been fun. Thanks for sending those in. I have also been having more live streams and I am posting some things that I'm calling word studies. I got to be honest, I don't think people are liking those as much. It's a little bit more of like a follow along practice. I'm not getting as much traction with those. So if you watch those extra videos this month, let me know what you think. If you like them, let me know so I will make more of them. I'm seeing some things about thank you. You are welcome. Are you married? Yes, I'm married, happily married, and have a daughter and a dog. The dog's right here sleeping. She's a little cutie pie. So have a great day, everyone, and I will see you here in 2 weeks.